I guess I'm live. Let's make this look right. There we go. Well, what can I say except I'm back? Kinda. Oh, I got one viewer. Webcam managed. Okay, this format is entirely new to me. I had no idea what's going on. Check something here. Oh, yep, that is on. Cool. Cool. Oh, this is gonna be a crazy year, I tell you. I tell you. Oh, jeez. Nothing I can do but crack a beer and laugh, I guess. For those of you who don't know, well, I'm sure it's been... How can you not know it's been in the headlines all of today? I just got back from work. A bunch of Trump supporters thought it would be a good idea to storm the Capitol building. Why? I have no idea. I mean, this has been a boiling point for... Well, I shouldn't say a boiling point. Like, this whole election thing has been like a simmer, basically. It's been simmering, and now it's at its boiling point. And this, the breaking into the Capitol building, that's... Fucking A, guys, come on. Like, I know I've been off the grid for the better part of 2020, thanks to work and just really not making time for YouTube. I'm going to see if I can fix that this year. That was one of my many resolutions, not to let this channel die. But if you've seen my older videos, you know that I'm a bit more I'm not a diehard conservative. I'm dead in the middle, but I certainly lean a little to the right. And just goddamn it, I was totally ready for, things to just move on. Much as I wanted Trump to win, I was ready for things to move on, and then this happens. Now, I think I saw some updates about they're going to resume, like everything's been cleared out now, they're going to resume counting the electoral votes, fine, whatever. But can I just talk for a second about how utterly stupid this is optically? Like, if the conservatives wanted to make a good impression, they wouldn't have stormed the well, I guess they're not really conservatives, are they? I guess they're just Trump's rabid fans. I don't know how else to put it. And I'm not trying to... Oh, I got a lot going through my head, and I'm trying to articulate it here. Plus, I have an IPA, and that's just going to loosen me up some. What's going on, chat? I got a whole 2 people watching. So, let's share this link around. Get some chat going on here. I want to hear from the audience on this. I'm sure I won't hear about it until much later. I also don't know how long I'll stream for. Maybe it'll be only a half hour. Maybe it'll be an hour. I don't know. But optically, this was a bad move. Now, I was tweeting about this after I clocked off. Antifa started this. Not directly, but they started this. With the Democrats not condemning violence from Antifa's side, and I'm sure this is going to get flagged as like a conspiracy theory video, but this is just how I see it. They not normalized, they allowed, oh, why can't I put words into a sentence here? They set the precedent that beating people up, vandalism, destruction of property, that was an acceptable form of protest. So why the hell now, when the right is basically engaging in the same thing, and I do condemn it. Like, if I were in DC myself, I'd be one of the guys in the crowd waving a flag, but as soon as they started storming the building, I'd be like, peace out, y'all. I ain't sticking around for this. I ain't sticking around to get arrested. I ain't sticking around to break some windows and break into fucking Baked Alaska was in Nancy Pelosi's office. Like, why? What purpose could that possibly serve? What purpose could that possibly serve? Other than just making yourselves look like a bunch of fucking lunatics, storming the fucking rotunda, sitting in Pence's chair and cheering. It's like, I thought you guys were on Pence's side. Why? Who among you thought this was a good idea? I don't get it. I don't get it. People are stupid. People do stupid things. And I was so hoping 2021 would be nice and relaxed, nice and smooth, nothing like last year. Although it's understandable. I mean, when you've got the likes of Chris Cuomo going, please, tell me where in the Constitution it says that protests have to be peaceful. If you ask me, like, I know I just said Antifa started this. They got the ball rolling and the media picked it up. The media didn't outright condemn acts of violence from the left, only from the right. And I'm not saying that those acts should not have been condemned. God, I'm really off form here. I need to get loaded and get some riffing going. But on the one hand, it's like, okay, what did you think was going to happen if Antifa sets the precedent that vandalism and all this other shit's okay? On the other hand, this wasn't the right move. I'm just going to start talking in circles. It was not the right move optically. It was not the right move legally. As I understand it, all of these people who are being arrested, they're likely going to be charged with federal felonies because they're breaking into a federal building. Which, going right for that 5-star wanted level, huh? God damn. I'm gonna need every last drop of that. Every last drop. That's it. I mean, if you think about where the anger from the right is coming from, it's. I mean, I was listening to Tim Pool talk about this on my drive home, and yeah, you like Tim Pool, you don't like Tim Pool, fine, whatever. We can talk about what he's good at and what he's bad at another time. But the outrage that's coming from the right wing, the outrage that's coming from Trump's voter base, is a very real rage. It's not, oh, we're just upset about the election. No, it's more than that. Most of Trump's voting base is working class. These are people who have had their livelihoods taken from them because of this lockdown. These are people who have had their livelihoods, their dreams, their long-term aspirations, everything they've worked for, in some cases, gone because some fuckstick decided to screw around with a bat in China. And you know, if Democratic governors, I realize this isn't a problem in every single state. The lockdowns aren't set federally; they're set state by state. That's fine. If the governors had stuck to their guns and lifted the lockdowns when they promised, this wouldn't become as nearly as much of a problem as it is now, as we've seen tonight with people storming the Capitol building. And you know, I've felt it too. I've been helping my family run a catering company. I've been over this many times back when we did Locked and Loaded. We still kind of do that. We do that on Twitch now. That's it's under Advanced to the Rear. You know, like, I lost 80% of my income last year. I probably, speaking loosely, I won't have to pay much in taxes this coming year because of how much I've lost. I might have to pay out a couple $100. Is that a big, you know, is that a terrible loss? Okay, how much I'm paying in taxes for this year, and I'm guessing no, but that reflects how much I was able to make in the last year. And these damn lockdowns they've done me in financially. I had plans to pay off my loans this year. Didn't happen. I had plans to move out of my folks' place this year. Didn't happen because of these lockdowns. And it's, you think about it like this, you can see where the outrage comes from. Antifa, or like, maybe not Antifa, but left-wing protesters who you know, what did we hear after George Floyd? Oh, we're protesting police brutality. We're protesting, you know, violence from cops. That is that's a low resolution problem. What I mean by that is, if you stand on the street and hold up a sign that says I'm protesting police brutality, and I'm not in favor of police brutality, let's get that clear. Where does that police brutality come from? You can point to specific instances of it. Yes, fine, good. Like, we get that it's a problem. But you can't tackle it head on because it's so sporadic. You know, you get an instance in California, you get one in Idaho, you get one in Illinois, and I'm just making examples here. You get one in Georgia, you get one in it's all over the country. It's not something you can just pin down and fix. These lockdowns from Democrats, I think this is kind of the method of the madness, as it were. These lockdowns come from Democrats. They happen in Democratic states, such as Washington, where I live. We've been in lockdown for, 10 months now? Inslee just rolled us back to phase 1, every county. Thanks, motherfucker. Like, never mind that I live in Western Washington. What about what about all of the East Coast counties that aren't as densely populated as Western Washington? They don't have nearly as much of a problem. No, they've got to abide by the whole same shutdown. If it were county by county, I think that'd make more sense. I'm convinced, as these lockdowns have gone on, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong. I've got another Amber Alert. How many Amber Alerts are there? We had like 2 yesterday. We had, 1 today, 2 today. Jesus Christ, stop kidnapping people. Can you just not? Anyway, the more I've watched how these lockdowns have progressed, the more I've followed followed how the government, how this outbreak has been dealt with. I'm convinced this is rapidly becoming a rural versus urban issue, because I live out in the country. It's not densely populated. You know, the most heavily populated area here is probably the local grocery store, and you know, my town's not a small town. It's not a one stoplight town, but it's not a sprawling city. It's not Seattle. It's not Olympia. It's got a population of maybe, God, what? Maybe 50,000? Something like that. I think last year we only had 8 cases. Like, for the year. 8 cases. But we're subject to the same lockdown rules as Seattle, which is where you would think there's a much larger potential for outbreak, shall we say. But anyway, I was going back to just this outrage that comes from conservatives, from the working class. Is the government has come in and said, these governors have come in and said, you can't work. Why not? Well, we have to stop this virus from spreading. Okay, when can we work, say the people? And the government says, we'll let you know. It's a travesty. Depriving someone of the right to work, by extension, suspends their pursuit of happiness. You know, some of these people are, they're restaurant owners, entrepreneurs. Maybe they own a small clothing shop, but this is what they love to do. Like, at some point, I'm convinced that Democratic governors don't understand how businesses work. Like, they don't understand that, like, businesses don't just appear out of nowhere. Someone has to put money down, someone has to rent a space or build a space, and then inhabit that space in order to facilitate commerce. So for the government to come along and just say, well, nope, no business for you, it's like, okay, why? Why? I've been asking that since fucking July. Like, why? Why has this gone on for so long? Oh, we haven't done enough contact tracing. Okay, how much is enough? How much is enough? That's what I want to know. How much is enough? When is this going to stop? And, I like I said earlier in the stream, I don't endorse these Trump supporters storming the Capitol building, but that, I'm sure to some of them, they saw that as a way out. They saw that as a source of a problem that could be directly attacked, metaphorically attacked. But you get me. It's like I said, it's not like police brutality where you can only target certain instances of it, but you can't fix the problem as a whole. If these people had gotten into the congressional chamber and gotten in the face of these Congress people, maybe something could have been done. I'm not saying that's what should have happened, but maybe that's what could have happened. I really want to think that these Trump supporters had no. Well, it's very hard for me to say this and justify it when they're breaking open windows, or shattering windows in the Capitol building, but I really want to think they had no malintent beyond making themselves heard. I don't think they wanted to kill anybody. I don't think they wanted to, not go full New Vegas. I don't think they were going to, string these Congress people up on a cross. I don't think that any of that was going to happen. And I'm not saying it should. And be really careful, because this is YouTube, and they'll probably look at me and be like, goodbye. just like the fucking government. I don't know. I had a lot of thoughts. I've had a lot of thoughts since I was driving home, and I just had to get them out because this has gone on for too long. The government should take notice of that. My money is on Biden becoming president. I think he should take notice of this. I mean, how can he not? But the proper, right now, after this, the proper, the way out for the Democrats, I think, or at least this is what I would do if I were a Democrat, having borne witness to this now, I would address the concerns of these people and say, what is it you want? Of course, they're not going to do that. They're going to look at, these working class people and say, oh, you're too stupid, you're too, you're uneducated, you don't know what you're talking about. We're the real intellectuals, we're the educated ones. We know what's good for you. Vote, you vote against us. I love this phrase every time elections roll around. If you don't vote for Democrat, you're voting against your own best interests. That's such a condescending phrase. How can anyone but yourself know what your best interests are? I mean it. Like, when someone says, by voting Republican, I'm voting against my best interests, it's like, no, my best interests are less taxation, smaller government, because I don't like having my head under the boot. I don't like being told what to do. Uh-oh. My viewers just dropped off. Well, phone says I'm still live. Did I get shut down? Did I get throttled? Nope. I guess people just don't like me talking. But I'm going to keep talking because the hell else do I do? I could talk smack on Twitch, but I'm not going to do that. I might stream later on Twitch. We'll see. Probably a little, let's say 30. Yeah, I'll go a little longer. And we're back up. Cool. I'm going to take my sweatshirt off here. But yeah, this has to stop. And really, between the lockdowns, incidents like George Floyd and Kenosha, the election results, I think, were really... Consider the lockdowns being a snowball rolling down a hill. The election results, the way in which the votes came out during the election, I think was like a snowdrift that the snowball bounced off of and just kept gathering more snow. Because I've said this before, not publicly, because I haven't been public for the last 324 days or whatever it was. I think that was the last time I posted anything on this platform. If the Democrats had, are so certain that nothing happened, why are they so adamant to not have an investigation? Even if now, on the day that the votes are being counted, it's just to say, hey, guys, this is what happened when we switched to all mail-in voting across the country, and it really hosed things. Maybe we should be more careful about this in the future. They don't even want to do that. They just say, nope, didn't happen. Now, last I checked, in a court of law, you have the prosecutor and the defense, and if the prosecutor says, we're bringing these charges against you, how do you plead? Didn't happen is not a defense. The defense has to prove that it didn't happen. The defense has to prove their case that they were not responsible. Nothing. The Democrats are just going, nope, didn't happen. No, and you can't see why. We're not going to... Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to let you see the results. We're not going to let you, question the results. Just close your eyes and walk away. It's like, no, 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 no. If the investigations had been carried out or the Democrats gave us something more substantial than didn't happen to explain the strange overnight votes, which, by the way, happened again last night with John Ossoff. Overnight, they found more votes for Ossoff, even though counties had stopped counting for the night. It's like, what? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, okay, exactly. What did you think was going to happen? What did anyone think was going to happen? Trump's fan base, I keep saying fan base, voter base, fan base, whatever you want to call it, his most ardent supporters have been getting the brunt end of the stick since 2016. If you support Trump, you're racist, you're homophobic, you're xenophobic. Insert some sort of woke slur, basically, here. And they have been fighting tooth and nail to say, no, we're not that. We just don't, we just want smaller government. We just don't want to be taxed into oblivion. We just want to live our lives. And Democrats have said no. Hell, some Republicans have, well, they haven't directly said no, but they haven't exactly backed their voters every step of the way. What do you do? It's nuts. And then, yeah, I saw tonight that Trump's Twitter account had been suspended for 12 hours. This is something I've been following since leaving university, is the death grip that big tech has had on our discourse. And I agree with Ben Shapiro on this. And again, if you like Ben, that's fine. If you don't like Ben, that's fine. The media set the election up. They didn't give Trump a fair shake on anything, even his peace deals. Like, how can you not like a peace deal? Oh, this is terrible. He's negotiating peace in the Middle East. Like, would you rather, send people to war? Why? That's pointless. What the fuck? War is the answer. Isn't that a title of a Five Finger Death Punch album? And since then, they've kind of gone 180 on that. Maybe the Dems need to have full control so people wake up with high taxes and no money in their savings to see what the problem is. Yeah, and hell, just from the lockdowns alone, that's been me. I've had to dip into my savings to pay my bills. Not much, but still. I set my savings aside for car repairs, for tax time, and any medical bills that come up. Thankfully, I've only had like one doctor's visit in the last 5 years. But so long as my loans have been in forbearance, I have been paying more. Hence, needing to dip into my savings to cover that, but I am paying them off faster. I guess the only upside to a Biden presidency is maybe the last couple grand on my loans will be forgiven. I'm just going to have to pay that back in spades through my taxes. It's a mad world. More beer. But just imagine, well, not imagine, you can see it, a tech company censoring the President of the United States. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. I don't like the idea of outright repealing Section 230, but maybe that's got to happen just to make a point. Again, like, I know that'd be the end of YouTube, that'd be the end of Twitch, the end of Twitter, the end of Facebook, because of all the stuff they would have to regulate so heavily in order to avoid litigation. But maybe they need a taste of their own, what would you say, their own heavy-handedness. If they're going to be so heavy-handed on U.S. politicians, maybe they need it back. I'm just saying. But yeah, if the media had been less partisan about everything that happened from 2016 up till now, then maybe the outcome of the election wouldn't have been so skewed. I mean, what? You had, like, Twitter burying the Hunter Biden story on, and people saying, oh, if I had known about Hunter Biden's scandal, I wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden. I'm like, well, that's pretty significant. I think it was, 19%? Maybe it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the election, but just that painting fucking Joe Biden as like this, oh, he's an innocent doddering old man. Do you want a doddering old man as a leader of the free world? Kind, sweet old Grandpa Joe who wouldn't hurt a fly? How's he going to be tough on any other nation if he's just going to be like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. We got this nice bat of calf care over here. It's going to be great. It's like someone, I've heard the explanation for so many of Biden's misspeaks and gaffes that, oh, he's got a stutter. And if you bring it up, if you criticize him for his stutter, you're ableist. It's like, okay, if a stutter is a disability, why did we elect a disabled man into the highest office in the land? I'm just bear with me here. Like, I'm playing by the left's own rules. Like, that's a disability. You shouldn't make fun of it. Okay, I don't want someone who's disabled running my country. I don't care how many barriers it breaks. I don't care how many firsts it makes. That's not good. That's not good. I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. It's oh my God. Oh, I hope there's a stronger beer in that Friday pack than this. Because this is... Let's just say this was supposed to be the year I toned back my drinking, and thanks to tonight, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to go up, but it's probably going to stay the same. Oh, man. So my predictions for this year, pretty straightforward. Don't be a bigot. We need to allow this old man to fall on the nuke button for diversity's sake. Just keep him away from the drones. Like, oh, we gave Grandpa Joe, we let Grandpa Joe fly the drone. Oh, did he do well? Nope, he crashed into an elementary school. Oh man. Yeah, carrying he probably fumbled the nuclear football and in the presence of Xi Jinping somehow, and then Xi Jinping takes the nuclear football to the other end zone for a touchdown. If you can follow my ridiculous sense of humor. I'm not saying this is the death, this is, I'm not saying, oh, this is the death of America. We're all screwed. Buy my super male vitality and help me keep the frogs from turning gay. No, I'm not saying that at all. But the working class is not going to come out of this all right. People like me, who, as Trump put it, what did he say? People who work with their hands don't have the luxury of telecommuting to work. And he's right. I've had this, I've dropped that line on people who are ardent, Trump haters, like, no, everything is wrong. And I said, look, if you're working class, you work with your hands, there's no office you can't work from home. Usually you're already working at home. And what's the workaround for a bar or a restaurant or God, what else? There's just so many little boutiques and shops that have gone under. I know, namely, it's the hospitality industry that's been hit the hardest. What do you say to a chef who can't pay his bills because delivery business is too slow for him to make enough money? Learn to code? That doesn't work. A lot of I'm kind of extrapolating here, but in my experience, a lot of people who work in bars are more artistically minded. There is a logic to how you can work in a kitchen, but there's also an element of there's an element of artistry to making a plate come together, and you can't just tell someone whose talent is making sandwiches, making good food, well, tough luck, pal, you have to go learn to code now. I tried that. I tried to program. I ran that gauntlet back in 2010 to 2013, and I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable because I had to find out the hard way, not that I can't code, but that I don't have the best internal circuitry for coding. Coding is a lot of problem solving. It's a lot of trial and error. But sometimes you've got to think so far outside the box for something to work that for someone who's, maybe that sounds great for an artist, but sometimes if you're someone like me who tries 3 or 4 things and they don't work, you write it off as a wash. Programming wasn't great. The other thing was that the school I went to was trying to teach you how to code fast. Well, I can code, I can't code fast. But, you can't say that to a coal miner. You can't say that to a restaurant worker. You can't say that to a waiter. Because that is such an upending of their skill set. And some people like to work in these restaurants for the atmosphere. Maybe they like being part of a team. Maybe they like being part of part of the community. If you're a programmer, and I'm sure someone out there who sees this is, and I'm making a gross generalization, but from my experience, if you're coding, yeah, you're part of a coding team, but you spend more time interfacing with the machine than you do interfacing with other people. You spend more time staring at a screen than someone's face. And I don't find it personally rewarding. As stressful as kitchens are, as lousy a work environment as kitchens are, there's something rewarding at the end of the day about bringing a smile to someone's face because you just made them the best damn sandwich they've ever had, or maybe in the case of my family's catering company, you just made them the best steak they've had in their entire life. And they can't wait to get more. There's a one-on-one factor that you just can't get from tech jobs. Yeah, they pay well, but they're not always... Money isn't the end-all reward for some people. Some people are happy to work 16-hour days for a halfway decent paycheck knowing it makes someone else happy. And that has gone to the wayside with these fucking lockdowns. I'm ready for it to be done. I want my business back. I want my livelihood back. And half a can and I'm already steaming. If Biden is the death of America, we really are a spineless nation. Yeah. I think one of two things is going to happen. Biden's going to serve his 4 years and quietly go away into the sunset after 4, because in those 4 years he'll have done so much damage that we'll see in 2024 we'll see a resurgence like 2016 of the working class and the lower class going, screw off, we want someone else. Or Biden's going to have a happy little accident. I don't know of what kind. God forbid he does, but let's say it happens. That takes him out of action. Maybe doesn't kill him, just makes him too infirm to fill the shoes of the presidency, so to speak. Kamala takes over, and we get her for 8 years. That's where I see this going. And the only way out, unless Kamala does something so breathtakingly stupid, which, given her track record, is pretty likely, we probably won't see Trump until 2024 or 2028 again. We might not see a Republican candidate until 2028. I hate to be all doom and gloom, but that's my gut feeling is for the next decade, the working class is hosed. There's going to be little to no upward mobility. I'm going to be stuck where I am. Probably not literally, but income-wise, definitely. And that's how it's going to be. Until, I don't know, I'd love to see Ted Cruz run again. I liked him. Most people didn't. I liked him. But no, it's really going to get worse is the whole culture war bullshit. When you've got fucking, what's his face? I don't even know his name, but maybe you saw this going around where they said some kind of a, let the Hunter Biden scandal drown. Because, yeah, I mean, let's be frank. A lot of people didn't like Trump. Nobody likes Biden. Nobody honestly likes Biden. Like, name one good thing Biden did during the Obama years. Oh, you can't. He's done nothing for 47 years. It's like, what's going to happen? Maybe best case scenario, 4 years of nothing. Nothing happens. But if the Democrats control the House, the Senate, and Congress, if they pack the courts, it's over. If they take the number of justices from 9 to 11, it's over. We'll probably never see another Republican president again. But this whole woke stuff is only going to make things worse. People don't want to be threatened. But you got people saying, oh, you're a bigot for voting Republican. It's like, okay. Explain how. Please explain how. Because then you're asking them to basically prove a negative. It's like, okay, prove to me that I'm racist. Whatever you say to me isn't true. I ran into this in fucking college. Oh, you should, give up your worldly possessions to a minority. Why? Why? Like, legitimately, why? Give me a reason. And that's where the left's, when Obama won, he had everything and they did nothing for 2 years. I'm hoping they do the same this time. Yeah. Well, what he did do was fly his son to China using Air Force 2. He did that. Got a prosecutor fired in Russia. He did that. But anything beneficial for the U.S., hardly anything. What did he give to Ukraine for getting that prosecutor fired? $1 billion? Like, fucking... And that goddamn stimulus bill, or the relief bill, giving so much away in foreign aid. Why give away so much money to other countries and not so much to the American public? Or not to just not give away to the American public, but spend on infrastructure, spend domestically. If the government can afford to give away that much money to other nations, perhaps they're taking too much money from their taxpayers, or perhaps they're just printing too goddamn much money. What are we up to now? 70, 60% of all U.S. bills have been printed in the last year? Maybe not that high. But just... I'm waiting for that inflation bubble to pop. And when that happens, people are going to be pissed. I think that's the other thing that'll force a Republican vote in 2024, is that inflation bubble pops and we get a second depression. Because people are going to look at what the... Well, shit. Well, no. Most people are going to look at Biden. 66 of U.S. bills printed this year. Yeah, of overall bills printed in history printed this year. And that number keeps climbing. I mean, unless the printing slows down under Biden, if it stays constant or speeds the fuck up, people are going to look at Biden and go, why did you keep printing money? You caused this depression. Get the hell out. I'm in. Fuck, with the mask mandates, 100 days of masking, that's what, 3 months? It better be over after that. That'll take us into April, which is, again, the start of wedding season, which for me is the start of my busy season. If my busy season is gone again, I'm not talking literally, but we might have to close our doors because we're just not making enough to justify staying open. Maybe there's stuff we can write off, fine and dandy. But for the most part, and I keep coming back to the same points I've already covered. But this is where it comes to for me. This is why I voted Republican. This is why I don't like where this year is going. We're off to a bad start. We're off to a really bad start. It's not reassuring. It's really not. How the fuck did they think Biden was a good candidate, number one? Number two, how did he win? He didn't campaign. Didn't campaign at all. He held a couple of rallies towards the end. Are you saying that's all it took is 1 or 2 rallies here and there to get people to come out and vote? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, I think in a month they'll be like, oh, COVID's gone. COVID's gone. We don't have to lock down anymore. And the working class is going to be like, fuck you. You see that clip of that guy who, like, what is it? It was a business owner. I think he owned a bar. The health inspector came to order him to close his bar because he had chairs outside. I'm sorry. Putting chairs outside your establishment doesn't mean you're serving patrons. Anyone who thinks that is utterly retarded. Utterly retarded. And no, I'm not sorry for using the R word. No, that's... If you think that you have zero logisticating faculties, or whatever the hell you want to call it, if you think that just putting chairs out on the fucking patio... Oh, there were just city park benches outside his bar? But yet the dude parked his truck to block the health inspector's car in so he could see how hard it was to work. Like, how hard it was for the average person to work. Oh, I can't do my job. Well, yeah, we can't do our job either. And, of course, the cops, I mean, Yeah, the guy in L.A. The cops, With the cops, it's a double-edged sword. I want to support them. I know a guy in law enforcement. A lot of law enforcement out here has been very hands-off. Like, yeah, I talked to a guy from one of the nearby towns who was I think he was either a sheriff or he worked in what was it? I think they had like a domestic violence unit that he was a part of. And when this all started back in like March, he said, "Look, we're just taking a stance of educate, don't enforce. Like, if we see people playing in a park with a soccer ball, running around, having a good time, we're not going to arrest you. We're going to say, hey, guys, just so you know, try to keep 6 feet. You might want to mask up." Da-da-da. It's been like that out here, out in the boonies, away from King County and, I think Olympia's in Thurston County. Anyway, away from the big cities, most cops are just like, look, we don't want any trouble. These are the rules. And if the cops are going to be like that, if they're going to be polite and just say, hey, come on, we're trying not to, he should sue the city. He should sue the city. Because in that case, I would say city benches are A, public property, B, the city's responsibility, so he can't be held liable. But of course, I'm sure they'll find some way around that. Fucking government. But yeah, a lot of the cops out here are just like, you know, not that I've been privy to any incidents, but it's like if they see someone walking around without a mask, it's just like, hey, do you mind? Is it I have, the whole masking thing is not really a hill I'm willing to die on, but I am getting fucking sick of it. Between the way that Amazon is enforcing their rules, like the 6-foot rule is fucking mandatory unless you want a write-up, which fucking, in my opinion, corporate needs to understand that the warehouse is not built to allow associates to maintain a 6-foot distance, across every fucking square inch of the building. And if they would just get that through their goddamn skull, we wouldn't have so many problems. But no, 6 feet, 6. If I hear the phrase social distancing, and it doesn't apply to me closing down my Facebook account, I'm gonna blow a fucking gasket. Like, we have someone who walks around with a pool noodle or a stick, a 6-foot long stick, and yells at people for not being 6 feet apart. It's like, this is fucking bullshit. I have gone into a store without a mask once. And it was after a 15-hour workday. And I can remember, I just went into the store to get a 6-pack, and as I'm walking to the register, I'm like, what am I forgetting? Oh, I left my cloth mask on my dashboard. And as I get to the self-checkout, the attendant's got to card me to get the beer and all that. I can see the store manager coming over to talk to me. And I look at her and I say, look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make a political statement or something. I'm not trying to make a scene. I just had a 15-hour day. I just want to get my beer and go home. And both the attendant and the manager just backed off, like, oh, he's not a rebel. He's just tired. Yeah. I mean, IMO, it's not an inconvenience to throw a piece of cloth over your mouth for 5 minutes if you're going to be in a grocery store. I don't see that as a major problem. I don't see that as surrendering your rights. Um, because I don't see it as a huge inconvenience. But when you have to work in one of these things and you've got a really laborious job, it's like, okay, ever try to breathe through a sponge? Yeah, it doesn't work very well, does it? Doesn't work very well at all. So, yeah. 2021. More like 2020 on New Game Plus. I've been saying that since New Year's, practically. Got some leftover potatoes from dinner. I probably shouldn't be eating while I'm on stream, but fuck it, I don't care. I'm not a professional. I'm not what you would call an expert. I'm just a self-aware idiot with a keyboard and a six-pack. Masterwork. Yeah, I've heard that too. Like, I'm not gonna make a definitive statement on that because I haven't looked into the science itself. So I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. N95s, yeah, those are pretty easy to get now, I think. At least easier than before. But, yeah, I don't know. Here, I'm gonna make a mistake and check the headlines. Let's see. I'm not gonna bring it up on screen because I'm lazy. Let's see. Okay, another challenge rejected to overturn the Arizona outcome. Ay, 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 ay. Wonder how long this is going to go on for since the counting process got so delayed. Probably well into the night. Let's see. What else? Trump turns on Republicans who don't back his election protests. Yeah, that's not surprising. I mean, you'd think there'd be some better sense of party unity, but I guess not. The Republicans are so friggin' split. I mean, I admire Ted Cruz for what he's doing, but it's like I said, if the Dems had just let the investigation happen to prove that there was indeed no fraud, that then none of this, all of this probably could have been avoided. N95s are the ones that actually work, but if you work in a labor job, you won't have it. Yeah, I can see that. I barely last in the surgical ones. I mean, yeah, they're nice and lightweight, but it's like, if you're sweating, if you're standing next to two 500-degree ovens and you're juggling stuff, and you got all that heat right on your face, or like on your back, or just, and you're moving around and all of that, it's not gonna feel good when you've got all that sweat pooling in this mask that you are required to wear and required to breathe through because the governor said so. It's like, that's what really fucking pisses me off too. Is some of these lockdown guidelines are so poorly written. Fucking Inslee straight up said in phase 1, no catered food is permitted, but restaurants can still do takeout. Now, I'm going to go on a limb here. I don't think Governor Inslee knows the difference between a restaurant and a catering company. I think he is so breathtakingly moronic that he didn't think of that. He just thought, oh, catering is wedding, wedding's bad, no catering. When all we do is delivery. We don't even have indoor dining. We just have a kitchen. But no, we can't work because reasons. Meanwhile, we can order from Sahara Pizza and it's fine. That's totally fine. But we can't do the same thing they do. We can't have to-go containers to do drop-off, no-contact delivery. We can't have, we can't set things up for people to come to our kitchen and pick up their food if they so choose. Nope, can't happen because you're not a restaurant, so you're not covered, so bye-bye. Well, we've said fuck it and just done it anyway because we're not covered by the rules. The rules that clearly say takeout's okay. Well, which one is it? We've decided it's okay then. What's the alternative? Not making a living. Not being able to pay my fucking bills. I'm sorry. I got bills to pay. I'm not going back to school to learn how to code just so I can have a socially distantly safe job. Not gonna happen. Okay, well, catering doesn't always equal a party, though. Yeah, not like the pizza can supply enough food for a party. Yeah, pizza parties for everybody. Yay! Fucking Inslee. How did he get elected to a third term? He fucking flopped in the debates, in the state debates. His, the fucking closing remarks from Lauren Culp, his challenger, were, I want to run the state, I don't want to run your life. That was Culp. And I don't even remember what Inslee said. It was so stupid. He's like, well, we don't need a mini Trump in office. It's like, what? Your challenger is a former police officer, not a businessman and TV personality, and you're saying he's a mini Trump. Yeah. About that. You fucking moron. And I think one of the questions they were asked was about their track records, and Culp went on to talk about his extensive experience in law enforcement in his little town of Republic, which I think is in eastern Washington. And Jay Inslee was like, well, we've done such great things for climate change, and I've had a really good record on infrastructure. There was this thing, that thing, the bridge that fell down. The bridge that fell down, quote unquote, it happened not too far from where I live. And I didn't like how he phrased that, because things fall down by accident. The bridge that fell down. That implies it was an accident, which it was, but that sounds like it was the issue was the bridge needed to be fixed. Oh yeah, the guy that was gov till now in state seems to be standing. I'll vote for him again. Yep. Where was I? Oh, the bridge. So what happened with this bridge was a semi-truck, I think it was a semi-truck, it was a semi-truck or a box truck, didn't realize they didn't have the necessary clearance to get under it and took out some of the support struts along the bottom. Accident? Yes. But, it just fell down sounds like it was happenstance. Well, fuck, it was happenstance, but it's just like, he said it with such a smile on his face, like, we've had accidents before, and I fixed all of them. It's like, you fucking idiot. You showed up to the site and said, "Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make it very clear, the bridge isn't going to be open today." It's like, when did we think that it was going to be? What gave you that impression? Anyway. Alright, I've been going for about an hour. I'm gonna quit there, give my throat a rest. And I think I'm gonna switch over to Twitch for a bit. So, if you want to follow me there, I think I'll be streaming some, I'm gonna stream some more Halo. There is a link in the description if you want to follow me over to Twitch. But thanks everyone who stopped by, and I will catch you on the next one, whenever that is. I'd like to do more of these impromptu streams. They're fun. But I'd like to make it a weekly thing, maybe a weekend thing, if all goes as planned. So, anyway, later.